Sometimes we forget that every little thing that happens every day has a certain meaning and has extremely valuable values for every person's life. Let's read the meaningful little stories about life below and ponder. Story number 1, Lessons about Confidence. That day was the first day I studied math with Mr. Peter. As soon as I entered the classroom, the teacher gave the whole class the first test of the year. The whole class was surprised when the teacher gave us 3 different types of questions and said, "The first test includes both easy and difficult questions. If you complete them all, you will get 10 points. The second topic has the highest score of 8 with relatively easy questions. Topic 3 has a maximum score of 6 with very easy questions. They are entitled to choose their own topic." The teacher only gave me 15 minutes to complete the test, so I chose the second topic to be sure. Not only me but also my classmates, no one chose the first topic. A week later, Mr. Peter handed out the test. The whole class was even more surprised when they learned that whoever chose a topic would get the total score for that topic, regardless of whether they did it right or wrong. The class president asked the teacher, "Teacher, why is it like that?" The teacher smiled and then seriously replied, "With this test, I just want to challenge my class's confidence. Every one of them dreams of getting a 10th grade, but few dare to overcome the challenge to make that dream come true." That strange test of Mr. Peter taught us a lesson. There are things that seem very difficult at first glance, so it's easy for us to withdraw from the first moment. But if we are not confident in confronting them when faced with challenges, we do not know what our capabilities are, and it is difficult to reach the pinnacle of success. Story number 2, Love Strategy. One day, a wife with long hair told her husband to buy her a new comb so she could comb her hair more neatly. The husband apologized and rejected her. He said he didn't even have enough money to fix his broken watch. The wife heard that and said nothing more. The next day the husband went to work. He went to the watch shop and sold his watch at a cheap price to buy a new comb for his wife. In the evening, he happily waited for his wife at home with a new comb in hand. However, a moment later, he was extremely surprised to see his wife appear with short hair. It turns out she sold her hair to buy him a new watch strap. Tears fell on their cheeks, not because what they did was in vain, but because of the deep love they had for each other. Story number 3, The Story of 2 Grains of Rice. There are 2 rice grains that are kept as seeds for the next crop because they are both good rice grains, both big and strong. One day, the owner planned to sow them in a nearby field. The first bead said to himself, "Why do I have to follow the boss to the fields? I don't want my whole body to be crushed in the ground. It's best to retain all the nutrients in this shell and find an ideal place to live." So it chose a hidden corner in the granary to roll into. As for the second grain of rice, day and night I hope the boss will bring it and sow it in the ground. It's really happy to start a new life. As time passed, the first grain of rice withered in the corner of the house because it did not receive water or light. At this point nutrients do not help, it slowly dies. Meanwhile, even though the second grain of rice was crushed in the ground, a golden rice plant laden with seeds grew from its stem. It brings new grains of rice to life. Lesson: if you close yourself in a shell to try to maintain your meaningless integrity, you will experience a meaningless life and lose your own value. Therefore, know how to commit to accepting challenges, courageously step forward, silently endure being crushed to live more meaningfully, contributing useful values to society. Story number 4, The Crow and the Swan. A crow, black as coal, was jealous of a swan, because the swan's feathers were always as white and beautiful as cotton. One day, the stupid crow suddenly came up with the idea that if he kept living like the swan, that is, swimming and struggling all day in the water, and eating plants and moss growing in the water, his feathers would become white, like the swan's feathers. So the crow immediately left the forest and flew back to the rivers, lakes, and swamps to live. But no matter how hard it bathed and washed day after day, its fur was still as black as ever. And when the moss in the water it eats doesn't suit its stomach, it gets thinner, and finally, it falls over and dies. Lesson: don't take stupid actions because of the illusion of things you can't have. In the end you will be the only one who suffers. Story number 5, Bargain for the Poor. A girl asked the old man selling eggs, "How much does an egg cost?" The old man replied, $1, 2 fruits, ma'am. The girl replied, "Sell me 4 fruits for $1, otherwise I won't buy any more." Old man: "Okay, you take it. This is a good start because I probably won't sell anything today." The girl took the eggs and proudly walked away. She felt she had paid a good price and went to a fancy restaurant to meet friends. There, she and her friends ate whatever they wanted. At the end of the party, their bill reached $420. The girl gave $500 to the restaurant owner and said she didn't need to return it. Lesson: the incident seemed simple, but it was very painful for the old egg seller. Many of us are always generous to the rich, but forget our humanity towards the miserable. Story number 6, Burnt Piece of Bread. When I was 8 or 9 years old, I remember my mother sometimes burned burnt bread. One night, my mother came home after a long day of work and she made dinner for my father and me. She put a few slices of burnt toast on the table, not ordinary scorched bread, but black as coal. I sat looking at the slices of bread and waiting to see if anyone would notice something unusual about them and speak up. But my father just ate his piece of cake and asked me about my homework and school things like every other day. I don't remember what I said to him that day, but I remember hearing my mother apologize to him for burning the bread. And I will never forget what my father said to my mother, "Honey, I like burnt bread." That night, I went to wish my father good night and asked if he really liked burnt bread. My father put his arm around my shoulders and said, "Your mother worked very hard all day and she was very tired. A slice of burnt bread can't hurt anyone, but you know what really hurts someone else? Those harsh criticisms and reproaches." Then he continued, "You know, life is full of imperfect things and imperfect people. Dad is also pretty bad at a lot of things, like he can't remember birthdays or anniversaries like some other people. What I have learned over the years is to learn to accept other people's mistakes and choose to support their differences. That is the most important key to creating a healthy, mature and sustainable relationship. Life is too short to wake up with regrets and discomfort. Love those who treat you well and sympathize with those who have not." Lesson: in life, you need to learn to sympathize with the weaknesses and limitations of others. Sympathizing with the lives and personalities of everyone in your family, friends, spouses, will help you have a harmonious life around you. Sympathy, the secret to nurturing family happiness. This story is a lesson about sympathy between people. Story number 7, Packing for the Trip. There was a monk who wanted to study far away. The monk asked, "When will you leave?" "I'll go next week. It's a long way." I asked someone to knit a few pairs of grass shoes. "After getting the shoes, I will go on my way." The teacher pondered for a moment and then said, "If not, then I will ask the followers to donate shoes for you." I don't know how many people the monk told, but that day, dozens of people brought shoes to donate, filling a corner of the meditation room. The next morning, someone brought an umbrella to give to the monk. The monk asked, "Why did the devotee give an umbrella?" The monk said that the monk was preparing to go far away, and there might be heavy rain on the way. The monk said to me, "Can I give the monk an umbrella?" But that day, it wasn't just that person who brought an umbrella to give. By evening, about 50 umbrellas of all kinds were stacked in the meditation room. The evening class ended, the monk entered the monk's meditation room. "Are the grass shoes and umbrella enough?" "That's enough." The monk pointed to the pile of umbrellas and grass shoes stacked high like a small mountain in the corner of the room. "It's too much, teacher, I can't take it all away." "So how can that be?" said the monk. "It's sometimes rainy and sometimes sunny, No one can predict how far I will have to go, how many times I will have to be exposed to wind and rain. What if my grass shoes are all torn and my umbrella is lost? What should I do then? Pausing for a moment, he continued, on the way, you will definitely encounter many rivers and streams. Tomorrow I will ask for your trust to donate a boat, please bring it. Only then did the monk understand his master's intentions. The monk knelt down on the ground and said, the disciple will depart right now and will not bring anything with him. Lesson. When doing anything, the important thing is not whether the external objects are carefully prepared or not, but whether we are determined enough or not. With determination, clear goals, everything is no longer a problem, no longer an obstacle. Bring your heart to the road, no matter how far away the goal is, the road is right under your feet, just keep going and you will get there. You take even one step, it also means that you have had a harvest. Just bring your heart and set out, all other external things will be enough. Story number 8. The man threw away his shoes. The train was running on the highway, Johnny accidentally dropped a newly bought shoe out the window, everyone around him felt sorry for him. Suddenly, he immediately threw the second shoe out the window. This action of Johnny shocked everyone, so he slowly explained, no matter how expensive this shoe is, for me it is no longer useful. If anyone can pick up a pair of shoes, maybe they can still wear them. Lesson. Things that are no longer beneficial to you are sometimes boundless happiness to others. Appreciate everything you have and share happiness with everyone. Story number 9. Thank you, Dad, for showing me how poor we are. One day, a rich father took his son to visit a village. The father wanted to show his son how poor a poor person could be. They spent time visiting a poor family's fields. After returning, the father asked his son, how do you feel about the trip? Very cool, Dad. The father asked, have you seen how poor people live? Yes, I saw it. So tell me, what did you learn from this trip? The boy replied, we have one dog, they have 4. We have swimming pools, they have rivers. We use lights at night, but they have stars. We have walls to protect us, they have friends. We have TV, and they spend time with family and relatives. The father was speechless. The boy added, thank you, Dad, for showing me how poor we are. Moral of the story, we are not rich just because we have a lot of money. Love, compassion, friendship, true values, family make you truly rich. Story number 10. The value of the stone. A student asked his teacher, Teacher, what is the value of life? The teacher took a stone and gave it to the student and said, you take this stone to the market but don't sell it, just pay attention to see how much people pay for it. Obeying the teacher, the student brought the stone to the market to sell. People didn't understand why he sold such an ugly stone. Sitting all day, a merciful peddler came to ask and offered the stone a price of 1 dong. The student brought the stone back and lamented, no one wants to buy this ugly stone. Luckily, someone asked to buy it for 1 dong. The teacher smiled and said, very good, tomorrow you bring the stone into the gold shop and sell it to the shop owner. Remember that even if the gold shop owner buys it, he cannot sell it. The student was very surprised when the gold shop owner offered the stone 500 VND. He eagerly asked his teacher why that was so. The teacher smiled and said, take it to the antique shop tomorrow. But absolutely don't sell it, just ask the price. Following his teacher's instructions, after a while of consideration, he was extremely surprised when the shopkeeper offered the stone his entire current fortune. He still refused to sell and quickly returned to tell his teacher. At this point the teacher slowly said, the stone is actually a precious piece of ancient jade, worth a fortune, and the value of life is like that stone, some people understand it and some people don't. To those who do not understand and cannot feel, the value of life is not worth a penny, but to those who understand, it is worth a fortune. The rock is the same, life is the same, the only thing that makes a difference is your understanding and the way you perceive life. Lesson. What is success or happiness? Each person will have different definitions and valuations, and let's respect that choice. Make your life valuable in your own way and decide your own life. Story number 11, The End of Contempt. The woodcutter and the scholar shared a boat in the middle of the river. The scholar claimed to have extensive knowledge, so he proposed to play a guessing game to relieve boredom, and at the same time made a contract. If he lost, he would lose 10 coins to the woodcutter. On the contrary, if the woodcutter loses, he will only lose 5 coins. The scholar considered that he gave in to the woodcutter to show his superior intelligence. First, the woodcutter asked a riddle. What goes in the river that weighs 1,000 pounds, but when it comes to shore, it only weighs 10 pounds? The scholar racked his brain and still couldn't find an answer, so he had to give the woodcutter 10 coins. Then he asked the woodcutter what the answer was. I don't know either. The woodcutter gave the scholar 5 coins and added, It's so embarrassing, I already earned 5 coins. The scholar was extremely shocked. Lesson: no one is born perfect. The more you show contempt for others, the more stupid you prove to be. No one dares to boast that they know many things because there are countless things that we still do not know. The more intelligent you appear, the more intelligent you will be. Just like the woodcutter in the story, although he did not study as much as the scholar, he knew how to calculate so that he could still earn a little. As for the scholar, he lost a sum of money unjustly due to his disdain and attachment to the woodcutter. Don't look down on others because the ending is always very painful.